So you want to grow your business, and social media is one aspect you want to utilize to grow your business, and you decided Facebook is where you're going to try and grow that small business. And so you may be wondering how to grow your small business on Facebook. And that is the question that we're here to answer today. So we're going to cover a couple things in this live. First, we're going to talk about what not to do on Facebook. I think it's important for us to figure out, what could go wrong, what does go wrong, start there to make sure we avoid that. Then we're going to talk about the importance of being you. I think sometimes we try and be this perfect polished thing on Facebook and it doesn't work well, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Then we're going to do a selling without selling. Because we want to make money from what we do on Facebook, though we don't want to be selling because people don't like to be sold to. So we'll talk about how you do the selling without selling. We're going to talk a tiny bit about having a Facebook community because I think that's a great way to be able to grow your business. And last, though not least, to me, this is like the super exciting, is what is a guaranteed way to help you get referrals on social media. So let's go ahead and start with our what not to do on social media. And I think we can address this with the social. Facebook is a social atmosphere, and so you don't want to be selling. That is one way to get people to block you, to unfollow you, to unlike your page. You can't be selling all the time. Now, you can every once in a while, but I think the mixture needs to be the majority of time. Like I could say 80%, 20%, because people use those numbers all the time, but I don't have any studies per se to say that. I think you do have to realize that it is social. So we want a mixture of social plus the selling aspect of it. Then we want to make sure that we're not spamming people. I hate it when people are like, hey, come add me as a friend or like my page. And then the first thing that I get from them is, hey, do you want to buy this from me? Hey, do you want to come join this group? Again, when we think about selling to people, we have to develop a relationship. We have to have that know, like, and trust. We have to know a little bit about you before we're ready to jump in. And so you don't want to be over the top. I mean, if you would feel uncomfortable doing it in person, why would you do it online? And I think people forget sometimes that online, it's kind of like in person. But we're behind, the computer screen or the phone screen, so we're not as apt to be like, they're not thinking anything about it. So watch the spamming. Don't just invite people and then start selling to them. Remember, you got to build relationship. It's not just a whole world of however many friends you have on Facebook or how many followers you have on your page. There's also, let's develop these relationships. Do you have any other don'ts that you would include for selling and growing your business on Facebook? I'd love to have you drop those in the chat box. I'll be keeping an eye on that to share for you. Now, our next conversation that I want to have is you want to be you. You want to be authentic to who you are. And I think too often people try to be this professional, polished, perfect person. That's a lot of P's. And it just comes off as inauthentic. And people don't want to connect, and they don't want to develop relationships with folks that they don't feel like they can connect to. I know when I first got on social media, I want to say it was back in 2008, I joined the Facebook world. Don't quote me on that. But it gave me an opportunity to begin to show who I am. And I think that people like to have relationships and like to do business with people that they know they have things in common with. Now, you do have to be careful. I always would think, because my grandmother was very active on social media before she passed. And so it's funny, she'd call and she's like, I know what you're doing in your world. Could you get your brother and your sister to post more? And no, they hardly post at all. And they don't want to post more. That's them. However, to me, if I'm using Facebook and it's a vehicle to grow my business, my question is this appropriate for me to post where my grandmother would be okay reading it? And I've seen a lot of stuff that is not. And I've blocked people. I've unfriended people. I've unfollowed, because sometimes you're like, I don't want to unfriend them because if they see that, then they're going to wonder what's going on. So I unfollow. It gives me the opportunity to not see them in my feed all of the time. And so there's a lot of people with COVID going on and the vaccine and the election, and it's just like social media mess. Somebody the other day was like, I can't stand going on social media anymore. And part of me was like, then why do you do it? A. B, I don't have that issue much. Like, oh, this unfriending and unfollowing is definitely working. So you want to be yourself. Try to be engaging. You know, there's one person that their business posts like random stuff, but it doesn't invite any conversations. And not every post has to, but I think if you can engage with people, you can have conversation with people. There's power in that. All right. So the third thing that we're going to be covering today, and this is what I kind of promised to us, is selling your business without selling. And the number way to market. And so there is a technique that I like to call horn tooting that I think is brilliant. And I actually just posted on Facebook on YouTube earlier this week, how to toot your own horn without blowing it. Because we don't want to be too braggy. However, I think there's power in using horn tooting. So what horn tooting is when people ask, how are you doing? You're like, hey, I'm great. Because. So most people are just like, yes, I'm great, or I'm fine, or things are wonderful, or they complain, don't ever complain. To me, when you're horn tooting, tell us what's going well in your world. So instead of me saying, hey, Ignite Your Business program starts July 9th, and here's the link to sign up, come on in. What I do is, oh, I'm super excited. I just got Susie Q enrolled in the Ignite Your Business program, or whomever happened to enroll. Or if I book a speaking engagement, instead of saying, hey, I'm Tiffanie and you can book me to speak, I might say, oh, I'm super excited. I just got hired to speak to a BNI chapter in Washington. And that's one I just got. I'm super looking forward to visiting a BNI chapter on the other side of the United States. So we want to use horn tooting to share about our business without being salesy about it. That's going to be the key. And so I typically am not adding in the links and, hey, do you want to sign up to try and keep it social? Again, you can do some of those sales type posts. Just want to watch how you're doing it. And I'm not really talking about how to grow your business on social media, on Facebook via ads. That's a different conversation for a different day. Not really my expertise. Jen Posick, if anybody ever is looking for ads, I usually recommend, talk to Jen, because she knows all about doing the ads. I figured we would do the free, organic kind of conversations. I mentioned earlier that a lot of this is about how do we grow our business? How do we build that know, like, and trust? And so I thought I would also mention the social media groups, because you can have this Facebook group and people come in and they hang out. And so I think a lot of times a membership, and some people have paid groups, some people they're free groups, that's up to you. But you bring people into your realm. And as your own Facebook group that you're able to create, you can make the rules. Now you can be a part of other people's Facebook groups, though they get to make the rules. They get to say what goes, what's allowed, and what's not. So we do have Facebook groups. I have a Facebook group. Or a Facebook community, I like to think, because it's a community of people. So if you want to join me, it's facebook.com/groups/more with Tiffanie. Now, I wanted to go back to this idea of selling without selling and horn tooting, because I've seen some amazing successes with this. Danielle E. Rush, who is my health coach, she actually utilized this technique to get a client in Alaska. And she shares more about it. I'll put it in the comments below. You can check out a video where she talks about how she got a client in Alaska. And just by doing horn tooting on social media. Who would have thunk? What a powerful way to make things happen. All right. I promised a guaranteed referral technique. So this definitely works. And Larry Davis actually did this.
You had us do an exercise where we posted in social media what we were looking for. And this is the post. I want to expand my business. I need your help. Who do you know? Who manages a new car dealership? I have 1,500 followers on my page. I got linked comments right away, 5 replies. And the one that was the most interesting was my cousin Phyllis, who's on the call. Now, my cousin Phyllis, start with that. She's a president of our chapter. Go with that. Due to the relationship in the chapter, we speak. She and Alton speak 3-4 times a week, if not more. She applied immediately. She's like, my next door neighbor fits that description. Now, Phyllis has been in BNI for 2 years. I was not asked, this was not on Phyllis. I was not asking the right questions. I was not making the specific request. As soon as I did that, she's like, boom, right away. And sure, I'll make that call. And she did. And we had conversation about it. So it was awesome.
The verbiage is, I'm expanding my business and I need your help. Who do you know who? And when we're able to do this, it makes such a powerful conversation. Now, that doesn't mean that when people tag, oh, I know Susie, I know Mary, I know Tommy, that you want to reach out to them right away. No, I want to reach out to the person that tagged them and said, hey, Phyllis, you happen to know a car dealership. Lovely. Would you be open to creating the introduction on my behalf? And I think that's going to be key for us because it gives us the opportunity to be referred and not to cold call. And I'm all about how do we grow our business by referrals. Cold calling is not something that I enjoy doing. So I look forward to hearing from you in the comments below. What have you seen work on growing your small business on social media? What have you done to get more likes on your page? What have you done to get more people in your community? I would love to hear. And if you want to join my community, I'd love to have you join us. Again, that's facebook.com/group/more with Tiffanie. We like to have a little bit of fun and share some tips. And I look forward to seeing you again soon.